What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 2 of Live with Levy here on Fantasy Focused, brought to you by the Original Hooters in partnership with Monkey Knife Fight. I got a special guest here for my second guest on my solo gig here, but I got the CEO of Elite Sports, Gavin. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, boss. How are you?
I'm good, man. I feel honored to introduce you to the world. I know you've been underground professionally handicapping for the last 22 years. This is your first public appearance, correct?
It is the first public appearance. First time anyone seen my face. Like to always stay low key. Really wasn't worried about the selling picks thing. It was more kind of the camaraderie, the brotherhood of my team, and honestly, truly liking to help out people. A lot of these cappers right these days, they're always looking for, something that's going to better them, and they truly don't care what happens with their clients. When my clients lose, I take it very personal because their money is my money, because I form a team, we're a tight unit, and that's why they're following, that's why they're supporting me and everything, because it's a brotherhood, man, more than anything. And when you get that team chemistry like Michael Jordan did with Scottie Pippen, Steph Curry did with Klay Thompson, you get championship results.
That's right, man. I can speak to that personally. I've been following you for years now already at this point. And this is actually, I think, the first time I've seen your face as well. So I think that's kind of an interesting segue into the way the market is now, right? Gambling continuing to be legalized in certain states. I know you live in Vegas. You're reporting live from the Cosmopolitan now. I'm jealous. So I'm sure vibes are a little bit different out there in Vegas. But in general, you've been doing this 22 years now. You do this for a living, right?
Correct.
How different is it now with things becoming legalized out there? Is it just exploding for you?
It's exploding because people aren't worried about putting the bet in. They're not worried about having to go to the bookie anymore. They're not worried about any of that. Everything's legal. They can report their winnings. They can write off their losses. It's more of a legit company and legit income now, and everyone's starting to see that. And if you notice, sports betting is on the rise. Like, it's the amount of money these sports books are funneling in each year is going up and up and up. The only problem is people are losing because they bet the wrong way. A lot of people, they bet with their emotions. They lose a game, then they want to chase down they don't just stop for the night. They want to chase down their losses. They want to do parlays. They want to bet high money lines. They think, hey, this is a for sure thing. There's nothing for sure in sports betting, and that's a promise.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it as it continues to be legalized in multiple states, which I personally believe it should be. It's good revenue generating for taxes and all that. Of course, it can help a lot of states and a lot of cities, right? Love the shirt though. But no. It's most important for the public to get educated, right? If they're not going to take the time to get educated themselves, they should pay a professional like you.
Correct. And not a professional to just give them picks, to teach them the correct way of betting. And bank money management's really key. Knowing how to spot, fake steam and, sharp bets. Not every time the odds makers are moving these lines way up on you, there is really money on that side. They are trying to get 50-50 on each side so they can make their juice, also known as VIG.
Right.
And what they're doing is if they get 50-50 and they get 5 million this side, 5 million that side, well, they just made 10% juice off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I hear you. That makes sense, because I wanted to ask you about line movement. Is it what you hear about like in the old school movies and stuff? A big whale comes in and puts $500K on the Yankees -1.5. Do things like that still move a line, or is it really more so what you're saying? There's 70% of the public put money on the Yankees today, and only 30% on Baltimore, so they're moving it down to get more people to bet on Baltimore, right?
Incorrect. Yeah, I looked at that line, and you just got to know as a capper, they're playing the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, if you're going to play head games too much, you're going to start messing with your head and you're going to start reading too much into it. So it's a fine line. You don't want to get too caught up on what's a fake line move, what's a real line move. honestly, the only way to really know is to become friends with sportsbook managers, become with people that are connected, that know big guys betting a lot of money. So you know yourself that is real money coming in. And when a guy comes in for 500K to drop a bet like that, most of the time he has some pretty good inside information, or he has a really good feeling about that game. And the sharp handicappers that I grew up with, we got guys Steve Fesnick, we got Billy Walters, we got, Jimmy the Greek. These guys are old school cappers. And people say today, these days, the new school cappers are better than the old school cappers. I disagree. I think the guys I just named would run circles around any one of these young handicappers, because only way to learn in sports betting is time, losing the hard way, learning your lesson. What did you do wrong? Going back and fixing every mistake you did and learning from it so it doesn't happen to you again. So when my clients, they do this stuff and they don't listen to me and they add another team on their parlay, or they bet it the wrong way, I get really upset with them and they take it personal. And it's not to be taken personal. It's to show them that I truly care, and I want them to learn the lesson that I learned 15 years ago when I did the exact same thing. I'd have not always won in sports betting. When I first started off, I was really good at my picks, just like these guys are. But every time I'm taking, I'm always trying to make hit a dream ticket. I'm trying to hit an 18 parlay. I'm trying to get rich overnight. And at the end of the day, you don't have to do that. If you add up $200 a day times 30 in a month, you make an extra $6,000 a month. So with that said, $200 a day is not hard to make if you go about it the correct way. You're going to have losing days, but you're also going to have days when you win $400 to $800, $1,000, which cover those kind of days.
All right. So talk to me about this. You've been doing this 22 years now. How did you get into it? Like, have you always lived in Vegas? Have you always been, done this as your primary source of income? Talk to me a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I was really I was a big sports card collector, and I still am. And I always got into that. And I worked for a guy at a card shop. I started working when I was 14 years old, and I would organize the boxes, organize the cases, put all the cards where they need to be in the case and everything. And what happened was I got introduced to my owner, his friend, which was a bookie. And he started telling me, hey, and this is, at this time I was working there for 2 years. So I'm 16 years old, take that into account. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So, and he knew, hey, he's like, hey, I know you got money because I see your Griffies, I see your Jordans. Worst case, if you lose, you can pay me with those. And I'm like, no problem. So I started betting, got my ass kicked. You know what I mean? I was, I'd be betting the Mariners, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like teams, it was just, I was betting to bet. I was betting to get action, and it was a thrill for me. And I lost, but it was a lot of fun. And then the longer I went at it, I worked for a couple of bookies, and I was just a runner, collecting the money and everything, getting the clients. And I would notice everyone would lose. Every week, everyone would lose. And I just started studying. How did they lose? How did they lose this week? How did they lose last week? Same thing every time. Same thing every time. And it was almost like their brains all thought the same way. And that's truly what's going on right now. Like, one person likes the obvious, the whole herd comes on the obvious. And that's when the sharp dogs come in.
Right. So are you saying like major favorites?
Yeah, I'm saying like sucker favorites. What I mean by sucker favorites is the play that everyone's going to bet that day. You could call the Yankees today a sucker favorite because they're minus what are they? 140 or something. Yeah, 160 on the run line.
Sure. Yeah, on the run line. Yep.
Yeah, but to me, I don't find that to be the sucker favorite because the Baltimore Orioles can give up 10 runs in an inning. So I mean, I feel like, and with the Yankees struggled the first series against the Washington Nationals, I feel like they have a little making up to do, and they want to get their batting averages up, and they want to get their placement, because in a 60-game season right now, people are saying, now, why are you betting so many favorites? If you notice, they're winning. These teams are going to get placement at the very beginning, and they're going to get in the front, and they're going to stay in the front, and they're going to have everyone else following them from there. and your Tampa Bay Rays. They're a deadly team, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right, baby. I know it. They're gonna shock the world. Hopefully, they got the pitching to do it. So,
Ian Snell's from my hometown.
oh okay.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
I love it, man. Yeah, he's a good ball player for sure, and I'm a big Tyler Glasnow fan as well, and Chuck Morton. Morton hasn't started off so great, but well, he'll turn it around.
Glasnow has a crazy future ahead of him. If he just stays healthy, he's gonna have a crazy future.
Absolutely, man. So, how long have you been doing it professionally, like as your primary source of income, though?
Professionally, I've survived the last 11 years off of sports betting, no other income. So
that's crazy, man. So like, I think it sounds glamorous, right, to be a professional capper, but I'm sure you've had many of sleepless nights, maybe even cried yourself to sleep, right? But like, what goes into it? Like, how much prep time are you putting into it?
Right now, just because these games are really weird because of the coronavirus and all the different rules and all the regulations and everything going on, I'm doing 11 to 12 hours since the baseball season started, capping every game, making sure I dot all my I's and cross all my T's, because you miss one little thing, the game's gonna go the other way, and you don't have a chance to change it later. You know.
So what goes into a cap in a game, though? Like, I'm curious, what are you looking at? Are you looking at just pure data, pure stats? Like for me, when I used to gamble, I would look at, how many games a team has won or lost in a row, things of that nature, right? Talk to me a little bit about your process of figuring out who you're going with on any given day.
Okay, well, in baseball, it's very fickle, and it's kind of even hard to explain to you, because I look at the pitchers, I look at the lineups, I look at the umpires, I look at the weather, I look at the venue, but I also have a little bit of a natural feel for certain teams, and I like to go with streaking teams. When I get hot, you'll notice I had the Dodgers 5 games in a row. I had the Yankees 7 games in a row. You're probably wondering why I'm riding this team like a horse. I'm riding them like a horse because they haven't bucked me off yet. And when a team's hot in baseball, it's a very valuable thing to know that a hot streak is very powerful. So I don't care if I have a bad pitcher going against a good pitcher. If that team's bats are dead, it means nothing to me, because I'll out hit that team.
Fair. That brings up an interesting point. You and I talked about this offline earlier, and I want to talk about run support. And when an ace is on the mound, this is interesting. I've never thought about this, but for me personally, I like to follow your picks because I'm a fantasy player, right? So I think there's a ton of crossover now, especially with gambling continuing to get legalized between fantasy and gambling, right? But what's your general thought process on when a guy like Verlander's on the hill, or like Blake Snell, guys who don't get run support consistently? Like, why?
To me, I've talked to a bunch of really sharp handicappers and just guys that just love the game, ex-players, everything, because I just want to pick their brains, because it drives me nuts when I bet a really good pitcher and you're thinking, okay, they're going to hit for him this time. Every time, that no run support, you're looking at and they're holding it down themselves, but you're in a 1-0 game and your team hasn't scored. It happens to Max Scherzer. It happens to the best of them. Like you said, Verlander, it happens to them. I feel it's complacency. They're having to hit so much for these bad pitchers. By the time the good pitcher comes around, they feel they can relax because they know their ace is going. He's going to hold it down. And I feel like in their brain, they just pretty much take the day off. And I've never really understood the rhyme and reason for it. But that's truly what I feel deep down inside. Like, I feel like they just feel like, hey, we could play half-ass and still get the W because our guy's on the mound.
Right.
And yeah, I think that drives everyone nuts. I think every capper out there is feeling me on this one right now.
Right. Yeah. It drives you crazy when it's like Max Scherzer versus the Florida Marlins, and it's it's like minus 200 for the run line, and they win 1-0 because they didn't do anything.
And you got the run line. You know what I mean? Every time, right? Because you can't take these money lines minus 330. And if you take these money lines minus 330, I hope you're an 80% capper, because you're going to catch L's. And when you catch L's, you caught 3 L's in a row. So,
Right.
right now I'm taking some favorites right now, but we won't get used to just taking these big favorites like that. And we're like the Yankees yesterday. I forgot what they were, but I took them minus 2.5 and they were only minus 120.
Right.
And they smoked them. I mean, sometimes if you're going to take the run line, if the team's really, really good and it's a real big blowout, the alternate minus 2.5 is a good bet. I feel
For sure. Yeah, I want to dive into that. A couple people in the comments here saying what's up. Victor, longtime fantasy focus supporter, Blue Jays fan coming in from Canada saying what's up. I know he likes.
I love Guerrero. I love Bichette. That's a good young team. The Toronto Blue Jays bats are growing. I feel like soon they're going to have a pretty deadly lineup going on over there.
Yeah. How old does it make you feel when we used to watch these guys' dads play?
So I bet Vladdy in the home run derby, and I thought I had it because the guy was hitting 550-foot moonshots. But it was crazy just to be like, man, I watched his dad play for the Expos. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Time is going by quick, man. And because I grew up in the Kingdom watching Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner. Come on, baby. You know what I'm saying? I watched some of the most throwback players, Derek Jeter back in the day, that Indians team that was just loaded. It was Manny Ramirez as a rookie, Jim Thome, Carlos Baerga, Kenny Lofton. I mean, that was honestly great baseball. I feel like baseball and basketball in that era will be remembered forever. We got the GOATs of those eras, because I think Ken Griffey Jr. in baseball is the GOAT with Babe Ruth, and I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT in NBA.
It's interesting you say that about Griffey. I feel like he had the potential to be the GOAT, but he never really maximized his potential because he had some injury issues there towards the end. But Fresh Kicks joining there from the IG team, never_ready. Shout out. Love it. So I want to ask you though, like I said, I've been following you for years, off and on, and well, mostly on. We've kept in touch, even though I'm personally not a gambler. We've shared information because I play fantasy a lot, right? And daily fantasy. Shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. If you guys have never played on there, use code FOCUSED when you sign up for a deposit bonus. But to me, you do things differently than a lot of cappers out there. You're big on first fives in Major League Baseball, which is interesting. I don't see a lot of people messing around with that. So I want you to talk a little bit about that. And you're big on run lines. So if a team's hot or if a team's stacked with studs like the Yankees, like the Astros, whatever, and the Dodgers, I know those are 3 of your favorite teams that you like to ride. Talk to me a little bit about the first 5 strategy and the run line strategy.
Well, the first 5 is this is something that I think everyone needs to listen to really closely, because I always try to talk to people about this. And, I don't know if everyone gets the concept, because everyone asks me, what do you mean by half a run first 5? If you look at every casino on the Strip, we got tons of them. Throughout the United States, you're probably looking at maybe over hundreds and hundreds of different casinos. If you look at all the different casinos, maybe 2% of those casinos offer the minus half a run. They don't want to give you the minus half a run because it's a great bet and it's a value bet, and they're trying to take away value from you. So they want you to take the first 5 innings money line and get juiced up, because when you lose, you're going to get rocked. I take the minus half a run on the first 5 because when I take the first 5 minus half a run, yesterday, just take a look at it. I had Sirocco. He's an absolute killer for the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
I take these studs. I know they got pitchers with teams with bats. Can't just have a good pitcher. You got to have some bats behind it. So I take the run line minus half a run, and I feel I only have to be up by 1 run at the end of the first 5. If I'm not comfortable with them being up by 1 run at the end of the first 5, I shouldn't even bet the game. That's
I agree.
Truly how I feel. Yeah. So I'm catching really good value with these. And you have to get an online website most of the time to be able to get the minus half a run. So if anyone needs any websites, I get really good bonuses on all the websites: BetUs, UWager, Heritage, Dealer Sports, all these different websites. I can get them really good free play bonus, everything. And when people say, oh, I don't want a free play bonus because I don't want to meet the rollover and all that, that's for the birds. We bet every single day and the rollovers meet very quick because you're betting every single day. So you might as well get something for your money than get zero, because most people are having a time struggling with sports betting. And if you get that free play, it's a little bit of a crutch where it's a little bit of help.
Why a couple more guys here, Lance Fujimoto joining in here.
Shout out to the homie Lance, man.
I love it. And Chris Gibson joining as well. Elite Heat team showing up. Love it, man. Welcome to the stream here, guys. So I know you're a basketball guy too.
Huge NBA guy. You know, I don't mean to brag, but I've never seen one person on IG that's touching my NBA. I'm not trying to be cocky. That's not my MO. I'm very confident and I'm very aggressive, but I'm not that cocky. You won't catch me like Vegas Dave talking about how did I do it and I'm 60-0. Nobody's 60-0, man. I hate to break it to you guys, man. Nobody's 60-0, and nobody's trying to play a series bet where you got to chase down the series, and if you lose the series, you go homeless. Okay, let's get serious here. We're betting straight bets. We're betting the same amount, and if we're betting more, it's a max bet. It's 2 times. If it's a max whale bet, it's 3 times. It's structured. It's like the mafia. It's organized, and that's how you win.
Right. So the other thing I'm talking about, you being unique as a capper, besides the fact that you do play a lot of first fives in baseball, a lot of run lines in baseball, but specifically in NBA, what I find interesting is you rarely anyway, go for a point spread in basketball, favorite or an underdog, right? You're all over the over-unders. Talk to me about that.
Well, it's very interesting. I won't name any names, but this is coming straight from a couple players' mouths in the NBA. And I had a little conversation with them, and I was just like, you know, why are you guys scoring so much? You know what I mean? What's the deal with these totals flying over, hitting 250, hitting 270? Because I find it kind of odd that the scores are flying this high these days. And he pretty much told me, look, this is a little understanding in the NBA amongst players because all the NBA players are friends. Let's keep it real. And they all know each other. You don't play defense on me. I don't play defense on you. We all get max contracts. These contracts are way too big these days, man. And this is politics. This is bigger than just sports. This is their money. This is their livelihood. A lot of them came from the projects. A lot of them came from bad neighborhoods, grew up poor. And to get their families set for the rest of their lives, they're going to make that happen. So what I mean by that is you don't play defense on me. I don't play defense on you. We both score 25. At the end of the year, we both get max contracts and we're good to go. Why do you think you see so much running and gunning, wide open threes? And, you know, these wide open threes are like layups to these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it adds up really quick when you go 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. You know, right there, you're like, and it happens. It's just like a boomerang. It's just like, you know, it's really crazy. So I find, why am I going to sit there and stress about, do I take the Dallas Mavericks or do I take the Boston Celtics when I could take the over?
Right.
I feel like it's the elementary thing, and people overthink it and they end up taking the side. And the whole game, I watch them biting their nails when I'm cashing out with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. And I just feel like, man, dude, there's something to be said for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I've even gone down rabbit holes with teasers in basketball. Like you think you're safe when you add 8 to 10 points or something to a spread and you still lose the bet instead of, you know, riding the over under. What else do you put behind that? Like, are you looking at if they've traveled across country, you know, if they're streaking, things like that in terms of how many points they're scoring? And I guess like part 2 of that question, do you feel like at the end of a game, you know, when it's crunch time, is that when they really turn it on and actually start playing a little bit of defense?
That's when they turn it on and play a little bit of defense, but that's also when they're down and they foul for an hour. You get where I'm coming from? Yeah. I mean, I've racked up 30 points in the last minute in games and got the over when I'm 28 points away. And you're going, you go, you leave, you come back, you're all pissed, you come back and you cashed. You're like, how'd that happen? And it's because, you know, if it's a close game, I'm talking about within even 7, these teams are going to start fouling. They're going to foul because they know one stop and a 3, they're in a 1 possession game again. So I find that, Yeah, but I do agree with what you're saying. They kind of ratchet up in the probably like the last half of the fourth quarter, because at that point they really are trying to get the W.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's interesting what you say about max contracts, because if you think about it even further, like these people probably are, obviously they don't want to hurt each other either. Like,
Not at all. Not at all.
You don't want to
You
play
know what I mean?
hardcore defense. You don't want a Dennis Rodman out there pissing everyone off.
No, and if you notice, there is no Dennis Rodmans anymore. Name an enforcer in the league that's enforcing everything. I mean, the closest I can even get to you is Draymond Green, and I'm like, he's cool or whatever, but like, he wouldn't have anything on the wall. No one would throw him around. You know what I mean? It was just a different kind of physicality. That's why back then we were seeing 70 to 80 games. You know what I mean? I personally like this era of basketball. I like the high scoring. I like the action. I like the up and down pace. I loved when I watched my Warriors win the championship and they broke the 3-point record, and Curry's hitting threes and KD's dunking and Klay Thompson's hitting threes. It makes for a real exciting game. And I think a lot of people are really into that.
It's gotten me more into basketball and fantasy basketball too. It's just, whenever the Warriors were playing during that peak, the over-under set at 227.5 points every game without fail. But
when's the last time you've seen that in the finals?
Right.
I mean, it is insanity. Like, I've never remembered any playoff games even really being over 215. Like, it's just, you don't expect that. But do you remember the series with the Golden State Warriors and the Cavs? It's probably about 4 years ago. Those totals were hitting 250, 260, 270. And it was a riot to watch. Like, it was really fun basketball. And I think it really got the ratings up because NBA is bigger than ever.
Oh, yeah.
I've been collecting Michael Jordan cards, and during this coronavirus, I've been living off of selling my Michael Jordan cards. You know what I mean?
I believe it, man. I believe
crazy.
it.
It's crazy. After that documentary, it just went through the roof. Like,
I'm sure.
You know what it was? The millennials got to see who the real GOAT is, and they got to see that LeBron James doesn't have anything on Michael Jordan.
Speaking of, that's a good segue right here. My boy Victor in Canada, he's got some DFS money. I know he's playing on Monkey Knife Fight tonight. So I took the over here. I've got a two-way player prop tonight on Monkey Knife Fight. I love,
and before you say anything, I love LeBron James over.
Me too.
I think LeBron James just goes off. And I was watching him yesterday in warm-ups, and he hit like 8 threes in a row. The dude's just locked in, and I'm very impressed with LeBron James have done this year. I think LeBron has had one of his best years at an older age, and Anthony Davis compliments that man very well. Like, he feels very comfortable having Anthony Davis on his side, and my pick is the Lakers to win the championship this year, and I'm not changing that. And they're going to get this one for Kobe Bean, and it's going to be classy, and everyone in LA is going to go nuts. And it's going to be something you're going to remember. So I feel like even though 2020 has been ruined by a lot of horrible things, I also think that the teams that are going to win these championships are all going to be teams they're going to be really exciting, and sports are going to help bring back the economy.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And Victor, I'm parlaying that there on Monkey Knife Fight. I'm taking Kawhi over. I think LeBron was at 26.5. And I took the over, or more, I should say. And Kawhi was at 27. So I went more. You 3x your buy in there on DFS. That's what fantasy sports is turning into. It's so close to being gambling now on the site Monkey Knife Fight. I know you don't know about this yet, but it's basically there's 2 players, and they set a more or less instead of over or under. They call it more or less, and you have to hit both of them. And you get 3 extra buy-ins. So if you buy in for 100, you get 300 if they both hit whatever you pick.
Oh, okay.
But you're playing against the house.
Can you buy back in?
Oh yeah. You're not playing against other fantasy players. You're playing against the house, literally. So it's not like DraftKings where you're playing against a bunch of experts. You're playing 1v1.
Oh, so this is something I think a lot of my players would be interested in, having a little side phone with this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's literally player props. So it's very relevant to fantasy sports. It's exactly what it is. That's why I tune in so closely to what you're doing. Because I'm like, all right, he's got Yankees first 5 minus a half run. Like, I'm trying to get Judge, Stanton, Torres. I want these guys in my lineup. Give me some DJ LeMahieu. Like, these are the guys I'm taking the more in fantasy points.
Oh, 100%. You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because this is something that every bookie I ever worked for and ran for, they always would sit me down and tell me this very first thing. They'd say, we won't allow more than a couple $100 on props. You know why that is? Because props are the wave. You can predict how a player can do, and his whole team can do horrible, and you could lose that bet. But that player will still get his points. You know what I mean? And still get his player prop. And player props are, I could crush player props if I could actually get down on player props. I can't get down. My websites, even me, I can't get down more than $100, $200 on the player prop on all the different offshore websites I have, which I have 8. And at the casinos, some of them will limit you to $50, bro. $50 on a player prop because they don't want nothing to do with it. They know you'll beat them. They know there's guys out there that will beat the brakes off them on player props, and that's cool. But so people can lay a player prop on you, and it's just pretty much like betting -110.
That's it. It's well, you can't do one player. So that's the thing. It has to be like 2 players. So if you go 2 for 2, it's 3x your buy-in. If it's 5 for 5, it's 20x your buy-in.
Okay, so you're saying if I took Drew Holiday today and LeBron James, and I took the over on their points, and you combine their points, correct?
No. It's individual.
Oh, okay. So individually, if they both hit their individual points, then you cash out double or triple?
Triple if it's just 2 players. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting.
You guys hear that? You better get on Monkey Knife Fight. This is it, man. This is the wave. I'm telling you, bro. I'll give you guys your picks, and you lay it on Monkey Knife Fight. We got to get involved with this.
I love it, man. This is right in your wheelhouse. You're blowing minds out here in the chat here. Tyler, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Tyler,
thanks for all the respect, man. I appreciate all the respect. I work hard at this. If you ask all my clients right now, there's a handful of these guys I did not charge. And people are going, what are you doing? Why are you not charging? I'm going to let you guys know right now, I survive off my own sports picks. I don't need clients. I don't need any of this because I'm one of the real handicappers out here and I'm doing what I do. But I truly love helping all you guys. You guys always chime in with me. You guys always support me. And I know you guys have families to feed. Some of you guys tell me your issues, and it makes me feel so good inside when I can help your family, and your kids eat. I'm all about loyalty and brotherhood. I lost my sister to suicide 2 years ago, and it made me become a very serious businessman and very serious about, the job I do. I don't joke around. I don't do a lot of partying anymore. Like, why you guys are out, people are out partying and, I'm out here handicapping my games. I'll go to the nightclubs and stuff. All my boys come in town and I'll take them out and stuff. But I'm serious about what I do. And it's because I don't ever want to let you guys down. I want to make sure. And when I come through, it makes me feel really good.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. And sorry to hear about your sister. That's awful, man. But it shows in your results, man. And it's fun watching you succeed. But yeah, that couple more comments here, Tyler. There's no more muscle in the NBA. He's going through the picks right now. I know we're going to wrap up with some picks here, but I got more questions for you if you got more time for me.
Most definitely.
So talk to me about coronavirus and the impact it's had on betting. Obviously, for like the last 4 months or so, there really hasn't been shit to bet on. So like, what were you doing? Like, what do you do during that time? You're just selling your Jordan rookie cards to eat, or what?
Yeah, I was watching all these degenerates bet on
NASCAR.
No. NASCAR's legit. And by the way, my man gave me 2 NASCAR winners in a row, 2 different races. And I don't know if you know how hard that is, but there's a ton of racers in each one. And he blessed your boy with the NASCAR. So if you do bet NASCAR, I want you to follow my man at Fantasy Focus, and I want you to bet his plays. And I'm also going to give a shout out for one of my friends. He's one of the best UFC guys in the game. If you want a really good UFC capper, I told him if you hit him up, he'll give you some free plays. He'll prove himself. He's got some crazy winners, and one of his biggest fights is a plus 240 in the main event. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to give you these plays, and I want you to follow him. And I'm gonna give you his IG name and everything at the end of this. I want you guys to follow him. And and I also want to give a shout out to the Cappers TV. This man is legit. He exposes fake cappers. He tracks every capper in the game, and what he does is he watches them, he tracks them, he sees who's legit and who's not legit, and he's trying to let people know who the real cappers are so you can sign up and make good money. And he's also letting you know which guys are frauds.
Right.
So it's kind of I'm really big on his channel and promoting him because I feel like what he does is real. He knows all the old school guys like me. He knows Billy Walters. He knows Steve Fesnick. He knows these guys because he's been around the game for a while. Our boy Chris Hammer. You know, these guys are pioneers, man. They've been doing it their whole life, and they made us read the lines and do it the way we do it. You know what I mean? Like this has been going on since the Mafia era, back in the day. Babe Ruth was playing back in the 20s, and these guys were betting. It's something that's so rich in history, the betting side of it, and the Chicago Black Sox rigging the. I think everyone knows about Shoeless Joe Jackson and the Chicago Black Sox. The scandal. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, no one's new to games being rigged, and there's games that are rigged. I don't care what anyone says to me, and they tell me, Des Bryant's catch. I mean, don't make me start naming them. The NFL's the worst. I know you guys absolutely love the NFL. It's the hardest sport to bet.
That's why
I'll go to my grave with it. Me and you, you got crazy amount of information. I study this all night, and Lamar Jackson, the Ravens still get the shit beat out of them. Right. It's just what it is, man. You can't think you know it all in the NFL. You got to stay very humble, because I've watched these guys that win the Hilton contest. It's never the guys that know everything about the game. It's the guys that take sharp dogs.
Oh yeah, it's always it seems to me in the NFL like almost it's really hard to cover a spread in the NFL. Like in the 2 minute warning, 2 minute offense, like there's no doubt in my mind whoever's coming down the field is going to score and make it a 4-point game when it's a 6.5 point spread.
Bro, everyone that's on here right now, I want you to text in on this comment right now. Who can relate to me right now about being up on the spread in the last 2 minutes of prevent defense to backdoor your cover?
Right.
Every single time. So what do you do then? You take the first half. Quit messing around. Take the first half. It's a lot better bet. You know what I mean? The end of these games are not safe. Like, these players do not care about you covering your spread. Some of them are actually pissed you're betting on them and making a living off of them.
Right.
So they don't care about letting that backdoor cover. If they're minus 3.5 and they're up 10, you better believe that touchdown's coming in and you're going to win by 3 and get hooked.
Right. So back to my original question though, what has coronavirus done for betting in general? Like, is the general public just going crazy now and throwing money all over the place and gambling, and you kind of see that as an opportunity? Like, it gave you an opportunity to reset and do more homework. Like, talk to me a little bit about Corona and sports betting.
Well, man, I had 4 months to prepare for this, man. And I'm watching certain teams like the Yankees that were all banged up, and we're going to have Stanton and we're going to have a bunch of players, and they're healthy as Knox. So to me, it's a lot easier. It's gave me a huge crutch because there's only 60 games. And with 60 games, I feel like it's a walk in the park, because these teams are going to try really hard every game instead of 162 games when you have about 50, 40 games where it's just a bunch of the dog days of summer, we call it. Right. It's you're going to find a lot of weird teams covering. You're going to scratch your head why, and just be kind of wondering, where some of the good teams are at. And with this 60-game season, you're going to be finding the teams like the Twins, the Astros, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Braves. They're going to crush it, bro. They're going to crush it. They're going to run away with it. Their bats and their lineups are on a different level. People ain't ready for it. But people keep thinking, okay, they're going to lose. Like, everyone kept, telling me, like the Dodgers, they're going for the sweep. I don't feel comfortable with that. Come on, man. That was payback, bro. They cheated, and everyone hates them for it. And on top of that, the Dodgers, barely lost to them. I mean, that was one of the best World Series I ever seen in my life, and one of the best games I've ever seen in my life, when they both had 11 runs on 13 hits and 1 error. Identical. You can't even make that up in a movie. So the Dodgers have been getting the short end of the stick, and they're an amazing baseball club. I expect them to get to the series this year. And I think it's kind of crazy because I'm predicting this. I'm going to throw some predictions out here.
Yes,
let's see what it's ages, okay? I'm going New York Yankees against the Dodgers. And I'm taking Yankees to win it all. It's going to be a great series. And I think it's really cool because it brings back the history of Jackie Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the Dodgers were. They were in Brooklyn. So I think that would be something for the history books if those two teams met up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the Milwaukee Bucks are going to finally get there. They're going to stop choking, and they're going to finally get there. They're healthy now, and they had time to get healthy. And I feel like they're going to play the Lakers, and it's going to be a good series. And the Lakers are going to go ahead and win that one. And the whole city is going to go nuts for Kobe and the Lakers. And it's going to be something special, and we'll remember it for the rest of our lives.
Not to go down this rabbit hole too far, but if the Lakers win it this year and LeBron wins one more after this year, can you make the argument of him being the GOAT over your boy MJ?
No, and this is why I say this. Mike's resume is insanity, bro. It is absolute insanity. He did not collect the L's on the journey.
Right.
You can't get there and lose that many times. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Warriors fan, because you guys already know I'm supposed to hate LeBron. I actually think LeBron is the craziest specimen that ever lived. There'll never be an athlete like LeBron James. Like, his body type and his athleticism is out this world. I don't even know if he's human, to be honest.
Right.
And a cool fun fact, I don't know if everyone knows this, Steph Curry and LeBron James were born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. So I don't know if they got some like genetic stuff they're pumping them full of, but hey, look, that's the hospital you want to have your kid at. You know what I'm saying?
I love it, man.
But LeBron James, if he could win 3 more, we could like make some conversations. I just don't think he has that much time left in the tank.
Fair enough.
And Michael, man, 6.
True.
And it's just like every one of those too, he was the man in the last seconds. You got to be clutch to be the GOAT. And when Michael closed out that game against Utah, it gave me the chills. And when he, the flu game, all the history of the way he won against some of the competition he played, that Detroit Piston team was a mean team.
Oh, yeah.
That was nasty. Bill Laimbeer and these guys are giving you black eyes. And I watched Jordan get literally trucked and just get up.
Crazy.
Get up. He had that in him, that championship fight to him. And that will make him the GOAT. I don't see anyone surpassing him. I think literally 5,000 years from now, we'll be looking back on Michael Jordan as the GOAT, and we'll appreciate that we ever got to see him.
There you go. Let me get through some more of these comments before we get into some of our plays for the weekend to finish up here. But yeah, in regards to the 2-minute drill here, every Sunday, garbage time is the worst story of my life. Victor wants to know if you got any tricks on hockey. You're not a hockey guy, right?
No, honestly, I pick my spots and I'll tell you what I know. And there's certain sports I don't know. Don't hit me up for hockey because I'm not good at hockey. I got a future bet on the Knights because we ride with Vegas and we riding heavy with Vegas out here. So I got the Knights. I'm going with the Knights to win it. But I'm telling you, my education with hockey is not my sport. And soccer, I'm not that good at. I got my boy, the Brewman. He's got your soccer picks. He's nice. Man City. Every time Man City plays, he slams them every time they cash. If you pick your spots in soccer, I guess there's some good money to be made. But hockey's not my thing, and soccer's not my thing, and tennis isn't my thing. I respect everyone that capsules sports because it is hard.
Right.
I've been yet to meet a really good hockey handicapper. So if you're out there, you could DM me anytime. Let me know. Like I said, I added a guy to my team for my UFC picks. So I'm strictly going through my guy for the UFC picks because he studies it as much as I study my book, I respect him, and his knowledge is just insane.
There you go.
He wanted everyone to know this pick, and it is 1 second. Let me get you guys the picks, okay? Am I allowed to go off this and come back, or no? I can't come back in?
I don't know what'll happen if you do that. Actually, maybe not risk it.
Okay, I'm not gonna risk it. Vincent Lucre.
Okay.
Is minus 180. That's one of his top bets.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. That's one of his top bets. He says he feels very comfortable with that. All week he's been like, okay, who do you like in baseball? He hooks his baseball pick, his winner, to Lucre. So he's just loaded up on this guy, and he feels very confident about him. So if you guys want someone to pound, that's a good one. You guys that know UFC very well, he is going with the underdog in the main event, okay? Plus 240, and very confident. Two other sharp guys I know. One guy has connections in UFC. They both like this man too. So the plus 240 in the championship fight, the main event, I would go with the plus 240 on that
one. Who is that? Is that the Brunson fight?
100%.
All right, cool.
Brunson plus 240.
I love it, man. Good stuff. Got a couple more joining in here. Tyler said Corona taught him how to play esports DFS. Yeah, that's what got me into NASCAR, man. I really got into NASCAR when that happened. Yo, what's up, Smitty? Thanks for joining, man. That's my dude. Love Smitty. Provide some good content there. Slowly finding another sick background, one after the other there in Vegas. I love it. Showing off with your Sportsbook there.
I should walk them through Cosmo, man. Anyone that hasn't been in the Cosmopolitan, you need to come down to Vegas and come to the Cosmopolitan. It's the classiest casino in all of Vegas. The chandelier bars popping, marquee. It's just got food spots, STK Steakhouse. It's the spot. It's my number one place to go to. I always get rooms here. And right now they're doing a crazy special. They give you a room for $79 a night, and there's no resort fee.
So when you're walking around the casino, though, do you have to have a mask on now?
Yeah. You gotta have a mask on. I'm over here in the certain little section, so I could have this mask off, because I hate the mask. I don't know how you guys feel about masks, but I'm hating this mask, and it drives me nuts, man. Like, we gotta do what we gotta do to keep everyone corona free, and hopefully this ends soon, because man, this has been nuts. I thought they were gonna cancel the baseball season after I heard that news.
I know. I was worried about it too. I'm watching closely for football, obviously. Like, I'm pushing my fantasy drafts off as long as I can, and letting people wait to do their buy-ins, because we've had this discussion here on Fantasy Focus. It's like, at what point do you consider guys like Zeke higher up than guys who haven't contracted coronavirus yet, right? Like,
100%. And I love the guy. I love that man that you put on your cover page, bro. Huh?
Who?
Is he a beast out of LSU? Your boy out of LSU?
Oh, we're talking about him next.
Bro, absolute problem, dog. I'm telling you. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to, because I know you want to draft him first. But I'm telling you, bro, that man is a problem, bro. And when he got drafted above a couple other guys, I knew exactly why.
Oh yeah, Edwards-Helaire is the real deal. My boy Tater here on the channel has been very high on him. He said top 10 back as soon as they drafted him. But now with the Damian Williams news, I feel like everyone and their mother is on the Edwards-Helaire train. So yeah, I think he's going to be a great fantasy player this year. Victor says Raptors versus Lakers. Let's go. I don't know about it, Victor. That's a homer pick.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Drake better put on for the city pretty hard, man, because I don't see the Raptors having a chance on that one. It's like it's just like that. They're a good basketball club. Don't get me wrong. And when they beat the Warriors, that was one of the most perfected finals I've ever seen. They beat the brakes off the Warriors, and I'm a Warriors fan, and people are saying, "Oh, if Clay didn't get hurt, no, stop playing." They were winning that series regardless,
right?
And they did everything perfectly. And Kawhi Leonard needs to start getting more accolades. I know everyone talks highly about him, but you're talking about LeBron. You need to start throwing that man and up there, because he's younger. He's proven what he's doing, and it's not stopping. I mean, that Clippers team is nasty. I'm not underlooking the Clippers. The Clippers could win it this year. I think the Clippers are a deadly team, and I've never seen a two combo as far as scoring and defense with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. That's pretty nasty.
Tonight specifically, it's if you're watching this later, not live, so I'm talking Thursday night here. Do you like the over for Kawhi Leonard points tonight at 27 as well?
Yeah, I do, because he's gonna have to carry the load. Lou Williams he went to the strip club, I guess, and he just wanted to do his thing, I guess. But he's the sixth man of the year. Let's keep it real. Sweet Lou is a dead red shooter, and he puts up like an extra 15 points for your team. And without him, Kawhi's going to get busy. Kawhi's going to be aggressive. He's going to go to the hoop, and they're going to need him to if they want to have a chance to, win that game. And yeah, I think Kawhi is going to have a big game. Paul George is, he can have really hot games, but the only reason he's not as famous as some of these other guys is he'll have days where he disappears. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I thought he's one of the most underrated dudes in the NBA because he doesn't really get all those accolades. But I think it's because he does disappear sometimes here and there. But yeah. Kawhi Leonard never disappears.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so I know you got a couple games picked for us for this weekend. What do you got your eye on? We got a couple of free picks for people that are not following you on Instagram yet. Make sure you follow my boy Gavin at Elite Heat 702 on Instagram. But what do you got cooked up for us this weekend?
I didn't know. What I'm gonna do? I got some UFC, and I got some. We got NBA, we got baseball, and we got UFC. All three of them. So it's gonna be one of the ones where we're gonna have a huge advantage because having a big choice of games to choose from, big slates, is what makes it easy. I feel like, because you can have a little bit more of a choice to be a little bit more picky on what games you want.
Okay. So what do you got picked out? What's your free play for the listeners out there for this weekend? Besides UFC, we got that one written down. What else you got?
I really like Urena. I believe he's pitching this Saturday night for the Dodgers against the Arizona the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Dodgers, I don't know if you guys know this, absolutely own the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. That hot park where the ball flies out with all the power hitters, they just club the ball and score double-digit runs in that park. Knowing how teams hit in parks, too, is very key in baseball. So I expect that to be a very easy win.
So you're talking Julio Urias or whatever his name is, the young kid, the glasses?
Mask.
You getting ridiculed for not wearing a mask over there?
The homie work here. Yeah, he's gonna sign up with me, bro. Elite Heat.
I love it, man.
LITEHEAT 702. Yeah, text me, bro. I'm gonna send you some winners for free.
I love it.
Yeah. Text me your name right now. I got you.
Right, so we got Dodgers Saturday night. You're gonna keep an eye on. That's a freebie. Anything else the viewers or listeners out there should be keeping an eye on for this weekend?
Yeah, there's the Yankees are playing the Orioles again, and J.A. Happ's on the mound, and J.A. Happ had a horrible start, and he got absolutely rocked and got no run support. That's going to change. I think they're going to come out and put up some runs for J.A. Game you can take my on.
I think I lost you there. No, I lost you with the Wi-Fi's.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you called it, man. I mean, J.A. Happ's pitching today, and Yankees put up a 5 spot in the first inning today. So I saw that was one of the plays you sent out today. I think we're losing you on the internet here, man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up since we're losing your Wi-Fi and you got kicked out of the VIP room there at the Cosmopolitan. But if you're tuning in here afterwards, this was my boy Gavin, CEO of Elite Sports, 22-year professional handicapper in sports. You can find him on Instagram at Elite Heat 702. He's got a nifty text service and all that to send out pics if you don't feel like doing the homework. Yes, Victor, the masked man gave the bad juju. The Wi-Fi is cut out there in the Cosmopolitan. But hope you guys enjoyed this special episode. Make sure you tune in here in about an hour. I'll be going live with Miss Samantha Holt and Mr. Bucky. We're going to do a little bit of a mock. We're going to talk some Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're going to talk a little Shady McCoy. So I'm excited to do that. He's coming back in here. So I'm gonna let Gavin come in here to say goodbye to the people real quick. Do we have you back?
Okay, my bad, brother. Sorry about that.
No, I was just signing off, man. Any last words of wisdom? I gave the people your Instagram, told them about the text service, all that. Any additional last words of wisdom for the people out there listening?
Yes, I feel like, honestly, don't feel ashamed to pay a capper to help you. So we got our side to our business. But